Oh, a microphony.
And a phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The Doctor of Discernment is now online.
You know, much like my show, in that it's a local reaction to things that are happening on a federal level.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Wow, do I have a boatload of stuff for you, from the crazy to the absurd. Let's start getting into it because, I mean, it is bizarro world out there. And I say, if it's obvious to me, should be obvious to everybody. Oh, wow. Who could have seen this coming?
This is the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage.
Hold on to your butts.
Broadcasting from the basement bunker beneath Kettle Radio. Welcome to the Fourth Hour. Great to have you along. We're learning more about what's going on with Nick Reiner, who is soon to be accused. He'll be in court today, believed to have murdered his parents, Rob and Michelle Reiner. So he had checked into the Pierside Santa Monica Hotel with a credit card around 4 a.m. on Sunday, just hours after he got into the yelling match with his father at Conan O'Brien's Christmas party. So, according to eyewitnesses, he seemed tweaked out when he checked in. No visible signs he'd been in a violent confrontation. However, when staff went to clean his room early after he left on Sunday, they found a horrifying scene. The hotel shower was full of blood. There were blood stains on the bed, according to outlets. The windows also had been covered with bed sheets. So all kinds of blood. Authorities have been investigating the room then on Monday, and they interviewed employees. Nick was caught later, charged with his parents' murders, as you know. It's just crazy. So the hotel room was covered in blood. And Rob Reiner's daughter, Romy, told investigators that Nick should be a suspect because he's dangerous. According to, I have seen that quote in a number of sources. Wow, absolutely incredible. Just heartbreaking story. So Nick Reiner will be in court today. Trying to see what time. 8:30 Pacific time. So that will be quite later for you and I. So they're about 2 hours behind us. Trying to see if there's any, the thing about the media is they come out with a new story and it's like one or two more details and the rest of it is stuff you've talked, that you've already know, just rehashing the same story, parts of the story that you knew. So I'm trying to look and see if there's anything new here. So he was booked then yesterday on suspicion of murder, being held without bail. He is on suicide watch, reportedly. Just absolutely incredible, heartbreaking story. I mean, this is tragic when you see things like this happen. So this has been the big story, I think, certainly of this week, I think, is going to be the death of Rob Reiner and the way that he and his wife were killed. And we're hearing more about Rob and his son Nick arguing on the set of Being Charlie. That was a film that came out 2016, and stunt performers who were there talking about the tension between the two of them. This is an actor who recalled arriving on set for the movie only to find that they had been having an argument in front of the cast and crew. They were just going off on each other. You could tell Nick was spoiled and Rob was just sick of his crap, he said. And he said there was a real tension in the room during this. I just assumed whether this is correct or not, this kid must be pushing all his buttons. Rob can't do anything right, he said. He said he's a Nepo baby, a spoiled kid to the T. It was clear to him, he said, he was a stunt performer who was on the set of this movie. And he said it was clear to him that Rob loved Nick very much, despite what was going on. And I think this is common. If you have friends or you know people who have children who are troubled or going, whether it's drug-related issues especially, you still love your kids. I mean, you want to do what you can for them. You want to be able to help them. And they, of course, in the midst of their addiction, they'll have none of it. But he says, obviously, he loved his son because he's doing this movie for his son, and still his son was unappreciative. And he said even before Nick's arrest, he had a gut feeling that Nick was behind Rob Reiner's death. He said, I picked up on all that hostility from just one day on set. That's how weird and awkward that exchange was. So we're hearing more and more stories, and it's a little more than a little concerning. Okay, we also today there was a meeting, I guess yesterday, between Erica Kirk and Candace Owens, and we don't know a lot about this. I checked Erica Kirk's page on X. She hasn't posted anything. Candace Owens said about 14 hours ago, Erica and I had an extremely productive 4.5-hour meeting that I think we both feel should have taken place a lot earlier than it did. We agreed much more than I had anticipated. Of course, we also disagreed on various points and people as well. Most importantly, we were able to share intel and clarify intent. Can you speak like a human being, please? Share intel. It's, people are just. And she said, I will, of course, have a full rundown for you all tomorrow as I'm currently exhausted. But I wanted to quickly let you guys know that absolutely nothing was held back. And the immediate result was that tensions were thawed. So apparently things are better, but we'll have to wait to hear details. I can't say that I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. That story has been a big one, and I'm more interested in Erica Kirk and what she's had to say and what she's been going through. Candace Owens has been off my radar for a long time. Elon Musk has been funding the GOP's House and Senate campaigns for the 2026 midterms. So Elon Musk, who apparently, now remember, he recently said in a podcast, he said, yeah, if he had it to do over again, the DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, yeah, he wouldn't do it if he had it to do over again because of all the heat that came to Tesla and all of that. And he no sooner says this than now Elon Musk is funding House and Senate campaigns for the midterms. It's according to Axios, and they've got it listed as an exclusive, an Axios exclusive. They say why it matters, Musk, and I hate that, why it matters. I'm not such a clown that I need Axios to tell me why something matters. That just the pomposity of that just drives me crazy. Whatever. Elon Musk, who threatened to launch a third party and support challengers to a Republican, is now firmly back in the GOP's camp. He recently cut big checks to help Republicans win congressional races next year, indicated he'll give more thought to the 2026 cycle, according to two sources with knowledge. Yeah. In other words, unnamed sources. So Elon Musk is giving money again to Republicans, according to Axios. Latest donations came after he had dinner last month with Vice President Vance, along with White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles and a former White House Deputy Chief of Staff. Yeah, I don't know that there's anything else. A lot of this, the media just loves to regurgitate other stories that we already know. Musk had acknowledged that he regretted some of his remarks about Donald Trump. I just think that's the kind of guy that Elon Musk is, and I understand that. He just operates on a different plane than so many of us. He really does. The guy's genius. You watch Elon Musk, and I'm just amazed. I get quite blown away by that. And I think those of us who operate on a lower plane of existence, maybe we've got both feet on the ground, maybe a little more often than some of these, folks like Elon Musk, maybe even Donald Trump, to a degree. I think maybe we're a little bit more rooted in everyday life and reality than some of these folks are. But it's interesting to see that Elon Musk will be giving money to Republicans again. Also, Town Hall's got a piece saying the latest job numbers are out and they look good for the Trump administration. Last month, it was reported that September job numbers exceeded expectations. Since September, the private sector has gained 121,000 jobs. Meanwhile, the government has lost 168,000 jobs. And the rapid response team from the White House, I want to get you there, see if there were any more facts here. Since September, private sector gaining jobs. Since August, the private sector has added 225,000 jobs. Federal employment is now at its lowest level in over a decade. I think that's a real win. Seriously, we've got fewer federal employees. We got the federal employment now at its lowest level than it has been for 10 years, especially following the Biden administration. I think that's good news. Real wages are on track to rise by 4.2% in the first full year of the Trump administration, outpacing inflation by quite a bit. And they say 100% of the job growth under President Trump has come in the private sector and among native-born Americans, not illegals. So very, very interesting what we see in terms of the number of jobs that have been added. November was the best on record, is what we're seeing. So a lot of reaction to that as well. And I want to remind you that I will be gone on Friday. I'm gone all of next week for the Christmas holiday. And before that, I want to be sure to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas. I want to thank you so much for being here. And I think I'm going to leave it there for today. That's it. You made it to the end of the video, so you are part of my gallery of champions. Special salute to the Bunker Brigade. Those are the folks that are here each and every day. They're reacting, they're responding. I see their comments on the sidebar here. So thanks to all of you. Whether you're watching, now you got more ways to watch. YouTube, Facebook, X. Now we're live on X each day. And I'm getting more and more response on X. So we post the show there. If you're ever looking for podcasts of the show, you can find those at kello.com. But also, we're posting them to X, so easy to find there. And I think I'll leave it there for today. Have a great day. Take care. So long until tomorrow. Until then, I'm underground and gone.